What's up, y'all? This is PJ Morton, and you're tuned in to The Biz with D.
All right, everybody. Thank you for all tuning in to The Biz with D. And right now we have PJ Morton, who is a phenomenal R&B artist. I mean, he's got a new album with Young Money, and he's might also know him from Maroon 5. And PJ's here with us. How you doing, PJ?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate you for coming on this show. I mean, like, you're dope. I mean, you're like so dope beyond dope, and you're like everywhere.
Like, thank you, man.
It's like we had to most definitely we had to get you on this show.
I'm happy to be here.
So tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself in case they don't already know who you are.
Well, you said I'm a keyboard player in the band Maroon 5. I'm I call myself a soulful pop artist, signed to Young Money. Started off as a producer-songwriter for a lot of different artists. Won a Grammy some years ago for an NDRE album that I worked on. You know, I'm just a guy who loves music. That's really what sums me up.
Absolutely. So real quick, I want to ask you about how you linked up to be a part of Maroon 5.
Well, they were looking for an additional keyboard player, and this was 3 years ago. And a friend of mine was coming in as a music director and recommended me, and so they flew me out to LA, and we just clicked, you know, immediately. We just jammed out, and it just kind of was a perfect fit. And here we are 3 years later, and it's still working. We're on a big, actually the biggest tour the band has ever done, a big arena tour right now in the U.S. So it's going amazing.
That's what's up. So what's been your favorite city so far on the tour, would you say?
So far, well, we did Madison Square Garden. That was kind of that was a big thing off my bucket list. So I have to say for this tour, Madison Square Garden for sure.
Okay. Have you guys made it to Philly yet, or not? Not quite yet.
No, we haven't hit Philly yet. It's towards the end of the tour.
Okay. Well, I definitely have to come to the Philly show and check y'all out. I've never seen a Maroon 5 show, so I'm curious to see. And you guys do great live when I see it on television. But I'm like, damn, why haven't I seen Maroon 5? I love this freaking band. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's an incredible show. This one is too. Like just the visuals, and we always have fun live. You know, we're all real musicians, but the visual on like with what we're doing, it's an incredible show.
Definitely. And let me ask you before we talk about you as a solo artist, how do you maintain both being in Maroon 5 and then being a solo artist, going and having an album out? How's that all work out?
Well, I haven't released an album since I joined the band. It's been 3 years since I released a record, and but now it kind of works out perfectly actually, because Adam has the voice. You know, we all have some different side projects that we work on. So, and on top of that, the band is very supportive of what I do. So, I'm able to do double duty. So we break when Adam goes and does the live shows of The Voice, and then I'll be on the road promoting my record. Then when we go to Europe, I'm actually the opening act and the headliner. So I'll be doing double duty. I'll be playing my stuff, and I'll be playing Maroon stuff, and as well as the tour the U.S. tour that we do after the European tour. So I'm able to make it work, man. It's double the work, but you know, it's a good problem to have, I'd say.
Most definitely. So do you get a lot of sleep? I mean, or is there hardly any sleep with such a busy schedule when you're opening, then you're performing with the group?
Yeah, I mean, I get what's necessary. I'm a workaholic anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
I just look at it. I just look at it as I'm getting to do what I love, man. I don't. There's not much room for me to complain. I'm blessed for sure.
Absolutely. So let's talk about let's just talk about this new album. What's the name of the project, in case for those who haven't checked it out or not quite in tune?
The name of the album is called New Orleans. It's my hometown. That's where it all started for me, and it's coming out May 14th. And I'm real excited to give it to the world.
Definitely. And you're from New Orleans, right?
Yeah, born and raised, man. Born and raised.
That's what's up. Now, how was it growing up in, or I should say, how was it growing up in New Orleans for you?
I mean, it was a great experience for me, especially being a musician, and becoming a professional musician. It's an amazing training ground for that. Between me growing up in church and getting that training, and the jazz music that was around, I think it really influenced who I became as an artist. It made me respect the music. It made me keep the integrity of the music because, being from New Orleans, you just learn to respect it because it's so special to people there.
So just kind of gearing back to the album, you have features with Stevie Wonder. I mean, he is a freaking legend.
Yeah.
Ron's. I mean, oh my goodness,
yeah.
That's like major. How was it collabing with the both of them?
Yeah, with two of them, that was two of my dreams come true, man. I mean, especially Stevie. Stevie's kind of the reason I wanted to be an artist at all. So, it's like I still can't believe that, But I didn't work with in the day and age with me touring and us doing all of this. I wasn't able to be in the studio. We emailed back and forth. And I met Stevie the week before he recorded it. And, I just sent the music to him. And he cut it at his studio, Wonderland, and emailed it back. And I couldn't believe it. Same thing with Busta. We went back and forth. He came to one of my shows in New York, and we talked about it. And, it's just, I want to rub shoulders with those people and do music that I really respect. So, dreams come true for me. Adam Levine is also on the record, my bandmate, and so I'm in good company on this album.
Definitely. So with the title being New Orleans, is the would you say like the sound influences coming from New Orleans? Definitely.
No. I mean the title has nothing to do with the sound. The title is more about the place I was in growing up in New Orleans, and that was my mindset, of it's before I understood the business, it's before I understood how radio works, before I understood how publicity works. I was just doing music that I love for that reason only, just because I was having fun. And this record is about me going back to doing what I really want to do in my heart and not being swayed by the business at all. It's just music that I enjoy. I made it real selfishly, and I just hope that that people dig it. But no, it has nothing to do with the sound. I mean, I think the sound is already in me. I mean, I like my first single, Only One with Stevie, is got horns on it because that's where I come from. So that New Orleans thing is always going to be a part of what I do. But no, the title isn't referring to me going to a New Orleans sound or something.
Okay. I was just kind of curious to ask, since the album isn't out already. I was just wanted to see what it was sound. So you mentioned Only One featuring Stevie Wonder. For those who haven't checked out the song, and we're definitely going to play that on the show tonight. What's the concept behind it?
It's just me being Dr. Love again. I like to write about love, and it's really about a guy who just has made up in his mind that he's ready to shut it down, ready to hang up the pimping, and just focus on this one woman that he wants to spend his life with. So, that is love is something that I talk about very often. So I think people in love or who want to be in love or looking for love can relate to this record.
So on this project, who were some of your favorite producers that you enjoyed working with?
I produced the record myself.
Oh, wow.
Warren Campbell co-produced Only One and one other song, Work It Out with me. And that, that's my mentor. So we always find a way to work together. But yeah, the album is produced by me. This is my voice. This is me telling my story fully.
Question comes from Michael. He wants to know if you could have collabed with one other artist on this album, who would that have been?
Oh man, I got three of my favorites on there. I don't know. Maybe Kendrick Lamar, which there's talks about doing something, a remix or something. My label mate Drake is somebody I want to collab with. But I got many more albums to make, So for this album, I think this is what I wanted for this record, I don't like making albums about collaboration. It's like only when they feel natural and when they work. But that's not really the goal. The goal is to put out some music that I'm happy with, and if it leaves room for collaboration, there's that. I think a lot of weight is put on collabs these days, but that's not the main goal for me.
Right. So I gotta ask you, what's your take on R&B, like the state of R&B music right now?
I think it's on the come up right now. It's crazy for me saying that. I remember doing interviews maybe a year or two ago, and I was worried, but we got some champions that have come out and that are coming out. I think Miguel and Frank have done a good job of opening people's minds back up. Even pop artists, like Justin Timberlake, has made a very R&B record.
Yeah.
I think that's the wave, and BJ the Chicago Kid is coming out with a record this year. Who else? Reggie Kelly is working on a record. I got a lot of friends that are putting out records that will help continue this change of the game. So I'm excited about R&B music.
Yeah, and it seems like the new R&B is coming straight from New Orleans. I mean, got even Luke James.
Yeah, we got Frank, New Orleans. We got Luke James, New Orleans. Don Richard is New Orleans. We're kind of heavy right now. The NO is pretty strong right now.
Yeah, and I mean, even just in music in general right now, like, you guys got this wave going on. I'm like, okay, New Orleans, all right, I ain't mad.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us
like,
be even.
Yeah, because you guys are really heavy with the jazz scene, jazz and blues scene. That it's like when it comes to R&B, it's like you guys are really like setting a platform, even.
Yeah,
might I say.
For sure.
So this question comes from Kenneth, and Kenneth wanted to know, who's your favorite designer?
My favorite designer. I love bands of outsiders. There's this boutique spot in LA that I really have started to dig what they do. It's called Dope Couture, that I'm really a fan of. And I like the classics too, like Yves Saint Laurent and Tom Ford stuff. And I'm kind of all over the place with fashion. But those are some of the main ones.
Some of your musical influences, I had to ask you about this. Some of your musical influences are acts such as the Beatles, Donny Hathaway. What are some of your all-time favorites from those artists that I named?
My all-time favorites from
Mm-hmm.
Well, Abbey Road is probably my favorite Beatles record. Stevie, I can't really choose. So many. Donnie, same thing. You know, it's like he didn't put out that many albums, so all of them kind of are really dear to me. Yeah, that you know.
Kind of gearing back to New Orleans, the album. What was the how was the recording process overall? Would you say?
Well, because I was on tour, I had to do a lot of it, majority of it, while on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I have my pre-production set up with me on the road, and in the breaks, I was able to go home to LA and you know, record the horns or record the strings and whatnot. But it was a very you know, very different process than usual, but because I wasn't stable. But it made for a cool mix because of how I had to start and finish. So I'm really, you know, this is my favorite album for sure. Favorite body of work that I've done since my first indie album, Emotions. Because I just had to be creative, you know, and had to figure out how to make these things happen.
Okay. And so, how would you say that the new project and your first album, how would you say that the sounds are either different or similar in a sense?
It's still my voice. I think my first record was totally live. We recorded live in the studio with my band, and I'd say that's how it differs. You know, there are a lot of beats on here mixed in with the live music, and it's who I've become through the years is a mixture of both. You know, synthetic and analog. You know, I'm like old meets new, and I think that's how the record differs. But it's the same in the sense that we're still talking about love, you know, and life, and it's still melodic, and it's still music that you can feel in your soul. So that hasn't changed.
So I mean, besides the album coming out on May 14th, sorry, I'm like to a blank. May 14th with Young Money, and then you guys are you're on tour, Maroon 5. What else? And then your plans on going on tour afterwards. Besides all that, what else can we expect from you?
Oh man, there's not room for anything else. That's the focus for sure. That's the focus is getting this record out, and I'm gonna promote the heck out of it, you know, and be on the road is you know, all year promoting this album and focusing on this. So I'm not putting my eggs anywhere else for now. It's just this New Orleans album, May 14th, and this Maroon 5 stuff. We're working on a new album as well. So
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really have time to focus on anything else. I'm fully focused on these two albums.
Right, most definitely, and it's totally understandable because I mean, you guys go do like the European leg, and then you'll go somewhere else, and then you'll come back over here. It's like you guys are always touring. I mean, throughout. I feel like close like every year, right? Like you have to be touring like every year.
Yeah, I mean that's the formula, you know. Stand on the road, stand in front of people. We actually started this tour that we're on in the U.S. We started in South America, and then we went to Asia, and then we did Australia, and Europe is after this. Then we come back to the U.S. So we tour all year long, man. So keeping busy.
Absolutely. Well, PJ, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, I do appreciate it, and then it was definitely fun getting to know a little bit about you, stuff that we didn't already know, and just kind of finding out about the new project and the things that you have in the works. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. So any final remarks and social media sites that you want us to shout out that people can stay connected?
Yeah, you can check. I'm always on Twitter at PJ Morton. My website is pjmortononline.com, and What's my Facebook? The PJ Morton on Facebook. So check me out. I'm always keeping you updated on my next move.
Definitely. And PJ, we are following you on all those sites. I actually just mentioned you before we started the interview, so if you could follow me back just so that we can kind of stay in touch and stuff like that, I mean, that'd be pretty great.
All right, dope, man.
All right, well, you have a good day, and thank you again. I appreciate it, and best of luck with the album sale.
Thank you, man. Bye.
Anytime. All right.